Hey everybody, welcome back to Lead Therapy. Before I get on with the video, I want to thank those who commented on my last video, which was about the certified letter that I received in the mail from the ATF. And I want to thank the folks that commented that I should have never received this certified letter in the mail box. It should have been brought to my door by the mail person, and I should have had to have signed for it. And I have never received any certified mail that I've ever known of, and I've never sent any, so I didn't know that you had to sign for it. So of course, before I did anything about it, I went to the post office website, and that's true, you have to sign for the certified mail. It did say that there was a kind of a caveat that if the sender didn't want it signed for, but in most cases it does have to be signed for. And then if the mail person, that there's no answer at the door, is supposed to then leave a card in the mailbox that says that there's a certified letter, and then you have to go pick it up at your local post office and sign for it. And then also I found out that you can refuse and not take a certified letter too as well. So I appreciate everybody's information. And so I tried to call the local post office. There's 3 or 4 of them, but they all have their I think it's an 877 number, which is I think their customer care number is what they call it. But the main local post office actually had a local number because I didn't want to have to go through multiple people. I wanted to go straight, hopefully, to get to a postmaster or somebody in charge. But of course, since it's the holidays, the phone just rang and rang and rang and nobody answered it. So I had to call their customer care number. And it then said, if you want to talk to a live person, a representative, it could be 45 minutes to over an hour. But they had one of those good systems to where if you wanted to call back, you could leave your number and they would call you back and you wouldn't lose your place in line. So it was nice. And so it took a good hour for them to call back. So when the person called back, I first said I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. I'm just trying to find out what happened with this certified letter. And I explained that I was the receiver, not the sender. And I even gave the tracking number. And when I looked up the tracking number, I don't know why I didn't even think of this earlier. I looked up the tracking number on the envelope. It says that this was delivered November 24th, 2020 at 3:20 p.m. And the side notes say it was delivered and left with an individual. It goes on to say just pretty much the same thing. Your item was delivered to an individual at the address at 3:20, which is not true. It wasn't given to me person to person. I didn't sign for it. This certified letter was put in my mailbox. Now, some of the people did also say, well, maybe because of COVID, that's how it was done. So when I gave the person on the phone all the information, that's what she originally said. She said when she looked into it, she didn't see what it said here, but it said because of COVID, that's what the person did. So at first I'm going, okay, and all that. I said on my end, what I read, it says it was delivered to an individual, and that's not true. And with not giving her too much information, I just said this is a very important certified letter that was sent to me, and all I said was from a government agency, and I would think that they'd want to have it, you know, signed for, even though I really didn't want this letter anyway. But of course, I already received a copy because I refused to read it. Even though they tried to read it to me, I just didn't pay any attention. So, but I did take a copy, a picture of it with my phone, and also have it on my tablet. So it's nothing new that I'm receiving in the mail. Now, somebody also said, well, the ATF wants a paper trail. Well, most likely, sure they do. But the person was trying to be a troll, saying the ATF wants a paper trail, and of course he had to sign for it. Didn't have to, it was in the mailbox. And so she said she would open up a case, and I also iterated that I didn't want to get anybody in trouble, I just want to get to the bottom of this. So she said she sent the information to the local post office, and they'd get back to me within a day or so. Well, they were very prompt, and that's very rare for the post office, as you know. 10 minutes later, I received a email from the local post office from a guy saying that they were looking into it and they would get back to me. Well, no more than 10 minutes after that, the guy called me. So, I mean, that's unbelievable for the post office. He then again asked a lot of the same questions, and I gave a lot of the same information that I originally gave to the first person. And now his answer, even though it said COVID related by the person, he goes, that letter should have been brought to your door, and they should have tried to have contacted you to sign for that letter and hand it to you. And like I said, he said if you weren't there, they would have then should have put the card in the mail box so that you would get it, and saying that you have certified mail at the post office to be picked up and signed for. So he said he was going to talk to the carrier and find out what happened, because we all, now that I know about certified mail, you can see the little green strips of like pieces of cardboard. That's what the signature card is on there, and the return address, of course, to the ATF, and that's what I would have signed. So what did that mail person put on there? Did they falsify my signature? Did they actually write on it that they signed for it, and that because of COVID-19? I don't know. Who knows? Probably we'll never know. Now, also a couple of people being idiots too as well, are saying, oh, don't follow through, because the ATF, once they find out, will then send another one. And then, so because you can actually say you never got this, which I could say this, but it's on video now, and I don't care. I already had a copy of it anyway. I'm not gonna be like a pussy and cower down and things like that. I'm a man. I'm gonna face it full on. I don't agree with everything that they've done, but of course they had to do their job for the first part of it, and that's the other thing. There's a lot of people were saying, and I'm going to make videos about the other comments too as well, saying that why am I complaining that they did this investigation? I've never complained about the first part of the investigation. It's what their conclusion that they came to, that they're absolutely wrong. So that's the video, and I originally was going to make another video until this came up. And that video, you've got to watch it tomorrow when I make it, and it comes out, about a California police officer that's a retired police officer, also a decorated veteran, that had an extensive collection, over 300, I believe it's 350 firearms, and a lot of them were in pristine and older firearms. Some of them, they said, were even museum quality, and a collection at that time when this happened over 10 years ago was worth around $1 million. Now it's worth even more, millions and millions of dollars. And what they did to him and how they entrapped him, and he was then only accused of a misdemeanor, so he could have his firearms back, but they never returned. Most of them they didn't return. And what they actually did with those firearms, it's just crazy to hear that something like that still happens. But like I said, this happened 10 years ago, but it's still going on. So thanks for watching. Leave any comments down below, and we will see you in the next video.